that the thing you're gonna create, the business you're gonna launch, like Emily taking that first step, the book you're gonna launch, the coaching you're gonna launch, the real estate business you're gonna expand. What if you knew that everything you did could only benefit people in a huge way? I've never seen anyone who's evolved to another level that doesn't know the art of persuasion, right? Our next guest had to persuade all kinds of people. Emily had to persuade all kinds of people along this journey. But it all starts with the biggest sales job you have to do. And the biggest sales job, I referenced it this morning, I want to go a little deeper, is that of selling yourself. You see, we all know we need to set goals. We get that. I'm not telling a crowd that doesn't know we have to set goals. But the problem with goals sometimes is we're so busy during our day, it's hard to set them and hard to see them, right? It's like we're like the Tasmanian devil. We're spinning around so fast in life with cell phones and businesses, trying to juggle 4 different things. It's hard to see the future. But here's the thing. We have to pull ourselves out of the daily grind, and we have to set the intention on where it is we want to go. We know that. This is not a goals exercise. You know that you have to say, if this was a year from now, it was the best year of my life, what does the best year of my life look like? Who am I as a man? Who am I as a father? Who am I as a woman, a wife, a business owner, a leader, someone who's making an impact? Who is that human being? I'm not going into that exercise right now, but if you don't know who that best version of you is in a year from now and where you're going to be, you need to do that tonight. Because here's what I know. What takes me is that version of myself, the best version of me, the man I want to be or the woman you want to be. We need to know what that is, and we got to put that like a beacon of light, like the lighthouse in the at the bay, bringing the boats home. We need that lighthouse, that beacon of light. And you know how often we have to sell ourselves on that? Not New Year's Eve, not once a quarter. If it's not working, you have to sell yourself on that every day, because you got to realize these outside forces are trying to pull you back to complacency. Emily had friends saying, your job's good enough. How many people there's so many successful people in this room, but how many times have you had people say, stop being a dreamer, you're reaching for too much, you could fail? All of us had, and every successful person does. So when you have the media telling you the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and friends and family telling you stop being a dreamer, and things go sideways, and you try a marketing campaign that doesn't work, and you try to do a video, and somebody gives you a bad comment on how crappy it was, you try 4 or 5 things. If you're not staring at that beacon of light, if you're not selling yourself on that big next version, next level of you, it only takes one little shift. You get a millimeter off today, and then you're a foot off next week, and then you're 5 yards off next month, and then you're 100 feet away from your dreams in a half a year. So when people talk about persuasion, yes, the first, one of the main things is you have to persuade people to buy what it is you want to offer the world. But the first sales job has to be on you. And that's why I encourage you to figure out that version of you you'd like to be if you were in this room a year from now and it was the best year of your life. Who is that person? And you need to sell yourself on that every day. So when someone says stop being a dreamer, you can be strong enough to go, no, I sold myself all day. You're crazy that you're not dreaming, right? When this deal goes wrong, you know that this is just a learning lesson. This is happening for me, not to me. So how often do you have to sell yourself? Every single day. And if that's what it takes, I've trained myself. I could go months now. I know my goals, and I'm pointing that ship, and I don't even barely look at them. But when I get in the weeds, or it goes sideways, or a partner isn't aligned with me, or we have a major employee leave, or we're starting a new company and I get off, I go right back to selling myself every day, because I want to light people up around me. Because if you're not selling yourself, you're kind of living life in defense, not offense. One bad email. If one bad email screws up your day, you're living life in defense. One bad conversation screws up and think maybe I shouldn't be in this business, you're living in defense. So start thinking of the sales job you need to do on you, and you know how to sell you better than anyone else, right? If it takes whatever it takes, talk in a way, put the goals in front of you, say it out loud, pray, meditate, figure out the way. So that's the first thing. The second thing when it comes to selling and persuasion is I just want to remind you that selling isn't evil. Selling is evil if maybe you sell drugs or you help people that have a gambling addiction. If you help them gamble more, that might be really bad, right? Selling booze to an alcoholic, that's probably really, really bad, right? But selling is how everything works. Selling and persuasion is the oxygen of every successful business that exists on the planet. And the reason I wanted to share this with you guys and take a little time is I started it this morning and I was going to spend more time on it, but I wanted everybody to have Brendan and we wanted to fit the whole day in. But it starts with you. You see, I don't know if it's, and I study this a lot, I don't know if it's the way we're brought up that you always see the sales guys in the movies, like the cheesy sales guy, right? We picture like the used car salesman or the encyclopedia salesman, or like the used car salesman comes home and like kicks his dog. You're like, those damn salesmen, right? And we have this like, this deep feeling, but what if, let me back up a little bit. When you guys have something you're passionate about. So think of something you're passionate about right now. The way you eat, maybe you're vegan, maybe you're pescatarian, maybe you love yoga, maybe you like jumping out of planes, maybe you love being a mom, being a dad, you love your job, your business that you do, you love helping other people. When you think about that thing you love, or a book, think about a book. Who in here's got a book that you absolutely love? Right? Who's got here's got a movie that was like, oh my God, if you were gonna watch one movie over and over, it would be one movie, right? Have you ever told anybody about that movie or about that book? So think about that. When people tell me they can't sell, what I do is I wait a little bit, and I did this with my wife back. I wait, and then I ask them about something they're excited about. So my wife, it's funny saying my wife, she's been my wife for about 4 weeks now, and we're having a baby. I think this is a busy year, 3 new businesses, new office, new house, wife, and we're having a baby. Woo, woo. But when I first met her, she is a hairstylist and the #1 hairstylist in all of Arizona. So yeah, and I give it up for her on that, right? So when I tell her, and this is a girl that makes hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year when the average hairstylist makes 30 or 40, right? And she's like, oh no, I'm not good at selling. I'm like, oh, okay. There's no way she could be doing what she's doing without good at persuasion. So the reason I'm sharing this is because I set a lot of people up. So I waited, and I said, what's your favorite meal? And I'm going to paraphrase some of this, but she said, oh my God, there is this Italian restaurant. And I remember this story. She said, this Italian restaurant, and I love sauce that's not chunky. And they make the homemade pasta. Oh my God, it's like a little chewy. It's so good. And then they put the sauce over it that's not chunky. It's the smooth red sauce. And the meatballs, oh my God, like you put the fork in it and it just opens up and it's so, oh my, and she's telling me, my mouth is watering as she's telling me, like, I don't want to just go to the restaurant. I want to buy the restaurant so I can have it at my fingertips at all time. So she's telling me this and I'm so dying to go. And I get done, I'm like, you can't sell, huh? I said, you just persuade. She's like, oh my God, that's selling? I'm like, oh my God, yes. Because you're so passionate about it. So many of you that raised your hand this morning when I said, who's a little nervous about selling? You raised your hand. If I found that thing you were passionate about, you wouldn't just say, oh yeah, I like that restaurant. Like, oh my God, this book. I read this book. It opened me up. I felt different. I changed my relationship, changed my life. But sometimes when it comes to what we do for a living, we love telling the story of it. We love saying, oh, I love helping people. I love coaching one-on-one. I could get somebody in front of me that are going through a bad relationship. I could turn them around, make them exciting. And then if you say to them, well, how about selling that? They go, oh, well, yeah, I mean, if you want to buy it, you can. I mean, they get nervous and change. You know that? You've seen people do it on stage. So what I want to just encourage you in this quick little, this is a session in our high performance mastermind. We did like 2.5 hours of it. We went deep on it. Was that badass or what? But this is enough for you to understand that take those same emotions, and I'm all over the place here, but think about this. When my wife was telling me about the spaghetti and meatballs, and she sold me on it, was she happy or sad? Was she enthusiastic or low energy? Right? Was she animated? Was her facial expressions and physiology up? Was she trying to help me to have an enjoyable meal? Was there anything she was doing wrong? And was she being the worst version of herself or the absolute best version of herself? The best version of herself. And here's how I want you to look at it in 2 ways. What if you knew for a fact, which I believe that in every single person in this room, that the thing you're going to create, the business you're going to launch, like Emily taking that first step, the book you're going to launch, the coaching you're going to launch, the real estate business you're going to expand. What if you knew that everything you did could only benefit people in a huge way? I said that this morning. Like, you did them a disservice if they went to your competitor. And you did even a worse disservice if they didn't work with you. if they didn't get coached by you, if they didn't fix their relationships by you, if they didn't become a better human because of you, you're doing them a disservice. If you look through those eyes and you love it that much, I love my books. I love our high performance mastermind. I love getting people engaged because I watch the impact. I watch how their lives change. So when I go to talk about selling, I don't go, yeah, if you want to join HP, I'm like, no, you got to do it. When you look at my book, look how excited I'm getting right now. That's not just some hype. I get so pumped up because I wish someone gave me this stuff when I was younger. So if you look at it through those two eyes, is if you love what you do so much that you know you're hurting people if you don't persuade them to action, then just think about it as your favorite book or your favorite meal or the way you eat or your children. And all of a sudden, when you go to sell, you won't have to be a salesperson. I don't consider myself a salesperson. I just get so enthusiastic and authentic and so real. I get to sell in massive amounts because people believe me because they could tell it's not some script or some pitchy thing. So the next time that you talk about what your product is or what the product is gonna be, or if you're telling a family member, which I highly don't recommend, but if you're telling a family member what you're gonna do, like you're gonna go home and tell somebody all the crap you learned here and what you're gonna do with your business, and somebody's like, that's funny, that's cute, right? But if you wanna sell somebody, if you go, hey, I was at this great event this weekend and I learned a lot of cool stuff. I think there's some spots for me. I think I could help people. You do that, you're not selling yourself, you're not selling the other person, you do no one a service, and then when you get their shitty feedback that you gave that energy for, you'll go, maybe I shouldn't. So what I want you to think about is, like my wife when she described the spaghetti and meatballs, think about your favorite thing. If you were standing up talking to the person next to you and convincing them to go vegan or read that book or go to the movie, I want you to think about the next time you offer your product, or you tell someone about it, or you ask someone that's gonna be a partner of yours to have that same level of enthusiasm, have authenticity, feel from the heart that no, the only thing you could be doing is helping their life and go to another level. Does that help you look at selling a little bit differently? Okay, just like Brendan said earlier, you guys have flown, so many people here from all over the world. We haven't even gotten started yet. This isn't even the end of day one. We got 2.5 more, almost 3 more killer days. Would anybody in here want to go home right now and not take the information you already got? So are you guys happy we sold you to be here? Okay, do you see what I'm saying? So there is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that are out there right now that would be so happy to give you money. No, you have to, I'm serious. Like, think about that. They're dying to give you money so they could cut a check to go faster. We are in an era, if you were part of the Knowledge Business Blueprint launch I did with my dear friend Tony Robbins, we are in the self-education era. It's a $400 million a day industry heading towards $1 billion a day. People are saying, I could go to school for 5 years to learn from someone who's never actually did it, but in a classroom, or I could just cut a check to one of you and go faster and quicker to learn what they've done, and I can go towards self-education. I'm not knocking schools, but that's the way we're evolving. And that just proves that you have the opportunity to jump in so many different ways, help people go faster, share what you know, whether that's in the real estate space, whether that's in any space possible, and enter an industry that's skyrocketing by just being the best version of yourself. And here's the thing that I just hope in this is usually 2 hours, I'm condensing to 9 minutes, is love what you do so much that you convince everybody that needs what you have to offer to say yes to you. Because if they don't say yes to you, they may not do anything with their life. And if they don't say yes to you, they might say yes to a competitor. And when I look through those eyes, man, I light up when I can get someone to say yes. You guys ready to get more yeses?
What's up, what's up? Hey, before you go, you need to watch these next few videos. They're absolute game changers. Hurry up and click right over here and watch them, and I'll see you there.